Nation of Fitin10, welcome to day 3 of the Fitin10 challenge. This weekend, we will have a meeting on Saturday at 10:30, so stay tuned. I will put up the Zoom information for that. I'll put it up in Slack. I'll send out a reminder email. This Saturday, 10:30. The email's going to be, the meeting's going to be very informal. I'm going to go through some topics, and if you have any questions, in fact, I'm going to encourage you to think about any questions you have, anything that maybe doesn't make sense to you, or anything you want to discuss further, and we'll do that. Okay, this is really, really helpful because I think there's a lot here that perhaps people may not understand, and it's really important to me. It may not be important to you, or although it could be. You may not understand why I'm telling you to do what I want you to do, so I don't mind you asking me these things. Okay, you can press me because I really want you to know why you're doing what you're doing, okay? And this gives you a much better idea, or perhaps a much better appreciation for why I'm having you do what you're doing, okay? A couple topics here I want to talk about, and this is mainly coming from your food journals that you're sending me. And so there's a couple things I want to run through here. And listen, I understand, or I'll start by apologizing if I'm repeating myself. Please understand that it's just I have to do this because there's a lot that's important that that doesn't resonate with people until it's mentioned X number of times, okay? And this is just the way it goes because there's so much information in the beginning. So weigh out all of your solid foods. All right, so there's a difference between weighing and measuring. Weighing is a form of measuring. There's other ways to measure that I don't want you to do, okay? So for example, somebody sent me a listing for yam that they ate, and it said half a yam. Half a yam. All right, so this is a measurement, but it's not very accurate because yams vary in size. So is it half of a 6-ounce yam? Is it half of an 8-ounce yam? What size is it? If I tell you that I'm going to, describe the amount of desks that's in front of me in terms of wood, and I say I have, half of a regular desk or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Desk size varies. And actually, my desk is huge. It's a monster of a desk, and so it doesn't really mean anything, right? If I ask you what shoe size you have, and you say, I've got half of an average sized shoe size, I don't know what that means, right? Does that mean it's a size 5, 4? So I need you to, or I want you to, weigh everything out. Weigh out all your solids, okay? And your liquids too, you can do that. But you can also, with liquids, you can also do volume measurement because we know that a cup of water is a cup of water. A cup of potato is not always going to be a cup of potato, okay? Well, that doesn't really explain it. But a cup of potato could be in one measurement. It might be, I'm just making this up, okay? But it could be 6 ounces, and a cup of potato next time could be 4 ounces, right? Because it just doesn't fit in perfectly, okay? Unless you made the potato into some sort of, liquid. Okay, so weigh out all your solids. This includes your protein powders, because sometimes the scoops are not accurate, or sometimes there are areas in the scoop that don't have the powder. Estimating foods. Do not estimate your foods. I have people sending me foods, and I can tell that they're estimating because actually one person sends me pictures of their food, and this is really good because now I can see their entries and I can look at the picture and I can be like, nope, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so so kudos to the person for doing that. But ultimately, I want you to, like I said before, you've got to weigh out all your food. Okay, liquids, like I said, can be measured in volume, but you've got to weigh everything out. Estimations can be way off, and I'll give you an example. Somebody sent me a picture of a potato they had with butter in it, and in their listing for butter, it said 1 serving, okay, and it said 19 calories. So I know that serving is very, very small. In fact, that serving is less than a teaspoon, because 19 calories, butter is basically pure fat, not entirely, but basically pure fat. And every gram of fat is 9 calories. So I know just by looking at that entry that even though it doesn't even have a size amount, it says 19 calories. I know it's a very small amount of butter. But then I look in the picture and I see this huge wad of butter, which is probably, by the looks of it, to me, it was probably 2 tablespoons. It may have been more. It's hard to see because I can't tell the depth. But it's probably around 2 tablespoons, which is around 30 grams of butter, which is around 200 calories, not 19 calories. You see the difference? And that's just one entry. Okay, so we've got to be very, very specific on what we're entering. We want the reality of what you're consuming. Okay, your entries have to represent reality. If your entries are way off from reality, it's kind of pointless, right? Now, I understand that some of the entries just might be off just for whatever reason. There's some miscommunication, there's some misunderstanding, and that may happen. But for the most part, if you know that you are eating something and you did not weigh it out, okay, then, and I'm not talking about 1 spinach leaf, okay, a spinach leaf, we'll talk about that a little bit later. There are some foods that are basically very low calorie that if you're off, it's not really gonna make a difference, right? But something like butter, which is highly energy dense, is gonna matter. Almost with all foods, it's gonna matter. So weigh out your foods, okay? Weigh out everything. Do not estimate. Think of this as directions on a map. When you do directions on a map, you follow the directions exactly. You don't estimate. You don't say, well, for this next 5 minutes, I'm just gonna estimate, roughly, I think I said turn, right 3 minutes up the road. So whatever street that is, I'll turn right. Okay, it's going to send you off course. Oh my God, I'm already at 8 minutes. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna get through all my points here. Eat real whole food. Try to eat as much real whole food as possible. This is not the best example, but I'm just gonna give you one example here of something that's common. Yogurt, well, you might argue that it's not real whole food. That is, you can't pick it, pull it, harvest it, or kill it. Although it is very close to real whole food, it's essentially just essentially what you're doing is you're taking milk and you're modifying it over time, essentially, okay? But you're not really adding anything to it. You might be adding some bacteria to it, but that's about it. So with the example of yogurt, have plain yogurt, add fruit to it. Do not have flavored yogurt, okay? Please don't do that. All right, we want to get as much nutrition, as much bang for our buck nutrition wise. And you might say, well, I'm eating, the flavored yogurt and I'm just putting the carbs in against my carbs. You said I can eat whatever I want. And yes, that's true. You could eat flavored yogurt if you want. The point is that you're not getting real fruit in that. You're getting a sugar substitute, which is not fine, but you're getting sugar in there. But you're not getting all of the nutrition that comes along with, say, putting fruit in there instead, okay? Like real fruit. So eat real whole food. And you can eat foods that are made up of real whole foods. So if there's a conglomeration, like an isobar, for instance, okay, it's made with real whole foods like oats, whey protein, honey, peanut butter, cranberries, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds, blueberries. It's real whole food. You can do that, okay? I don't mind you eating foods that are made up of real whole foods, okay? Message of the day. Oh, it's over 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, quickly here. Message of the day. Where's my message of the day? You don't have to be extreme to achieve results. You do not have to be extreme to achieve results. You just have to be consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent with your exercise prescription and your food intake, which includes accuracy, right? Reality, right? What are we actually getting? And then being consistent with that. Being consistent with our energy output and energy intake, at least for these 70 days, because I really want to show you the power of what can happen with a little bit of exercise. Well, there's specificity with this, of course, and food, right? There's specificity with this as well. But again, you don't have to be extreme. This is not about being extreme. There's nothing in this there's nothing in this that is extreme, with perhaps the exception of weighing out your food, which I don't really think is that extreme, but you might think it is, okay? You don't have to be extreme, you just have to be consistent. The only way we're gonna know we're consistent is by following accurately our energy intake, hence why we're measuring, and the exercise prescription that I've given you, right? All right, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all very soon. See you guys.